Hello, everybody, and welcome to the first round of the 2016 season of the VRR Straight Talk Wireless IndyCar Series. I'm NASCAR Fan 1400, alongside Clayton Hardy as we are getting ready to go racing here at Surfers Paradise. But first, the pre-race show, brought to you by Straight Talk Wireless. Clayton, it's a beautiful day here. What are we expecting to see in this first round?
This is a very unique experience. We haven't seen IndyCars at Surfers in a decade. We don't know. This is the first time we've seen this type of action come to Surfers. Obviously, we want to say that we hope to see what we see at St. Pete, what we see at Toronto. We want to see the same street course action available. Practice looks promising, but practice and race are two completely different things. We just have to wait and see.
And, we got a packed grid for an open wheel race on a street circuit with this much close quarter racing. And, you look at just this camera angle right here, you can see that there is a lot of mixed talent in here. We've got a lot of people who are, multiple seasons of Formula One and other IndyCar series, and then you've got some people that are rookies and have never driven anything other than go-karts before, the champ cars, and now they're here, and it's the beginning of the season. It's a long season, and there's a long way to go. But even in this race, the tensions are already rising, thinking toward the end part of the season. What is it like when you're sitting there on the grid, getting ready to go racing for a whole new season?
When you're on the grid, it's a little bit more complex. When you're in the off season, when you're coming into the race weekend, you're really antsy, you're really nervous. How's the car going to handle? What are we expecting? What are the crowds going to do? Is there anything that's going to go wrong? But once you're in the cockpit, especially today, now that you've gotten through qualifying, you've gotten through the inspections, now you're just focused on going from drop of the green flag to the checker flag. And so you want to make sure you get there first. Right now, these guys and girls are all focused. It's just a matter of who's going to get the edge in the race, and everyone's focused so hard on that, especially at a place like Surfers, where everything's just a little bit more important than usual. These guys and girls are ready, and we're going to see them put 110% out today.
We're sitting up at the booth here, and it's a brand new season, the inaugural season of the Straight Talk IndyCar series. Now, what are, obviously being up at the commentary booth for the season, you start trying to take a look at people, and, since we've only had two other races so far at Bristol and Indy in 2015, who are you looking at for this season?
Jimmy Nari-Jardine and Kimitsu Kinoshita both look really strong at Bristol and Indianapolis, respectively. I'm not going to put anything past either of those two. Honestly, the way I see it, I think Stephanie Porter-Kelly has something to really prove here. Hasn't done a whole lot in IndyCar, has done a lot everywhere else. She would love to add this to her collection. Angel Porter, obviously, is always in the front of everyone's mind, no matter what. Kinoshita is definitely a forerunner. My pick is currently Ryan Perlstein. What he showed in testing, what he showed in preseason, has been nothing short of remarkable. And I think he has everything it takes to go and take the championship.
That is a pretty bold call. I mean, I know he was really good in the testing, but it seems to me, at least from what I saw, he kind of started to fall off once we started to get adjusted, once everybody else started to try and catch up there. I definitely think he has a shot, though. My pick, quite honestly, I think that CUNY Kinoshita is going to pull it out. After the motivation that she has now with the, obviously the end of the Indy 500 there, finally getting that under her belt, putting that on her resume. Now she can, get that monkey off her back, and now she can focus on the rest of the season, focus on the 2016 500, focus on the rest of the 2016 season, and I really think that she's going to have all that open wheel experience plus all the confidence she has and momentum rolling into this season. I feel like she's going to pull it out this year.
So you're got Kinoshita, I've got Pearlstein. We're both gonna have something to watch for because they're both starting in the back 8 today. So I guess do or die for the championship. I guess this is where it starts. It'll be interesting. It'll be interesting for sure.
It's always interesting, though. I mean,
I don't know. It's really difficult with these because, as you brought up, it's preseason and the actual season are really different. But I don't know. Pearlstein just seems to have everything together for those super speedways for places like Michigan and Fontana. And those super speedways, that Triple Crown is double points. And I think I have this honest feeling that if someone's going to win the championship, it's going to be because they win one of those 3 Triple Crown races. Pearlstein's got plenty of experience at Fontana. Really motivated after being disappointed at Indy. Pocono should be right up his alley as well. You've got Kinoshita, who surprised us all by winning Indy. Can't count her out, obviously. I don't know. Everything can change. And it's really going to be, I think, a test of will. I think I'm overvaluing Pearlstein as an underdog, because as far as the team championship goes, he's got no chance at all. He's done. He's got no chance team wise. That's either going to Black Rose Racing or Cat Devil Racing, I think.
Which already have their own rivalries before we even start the season.
Oh yeah, the ties there are already insane. But Pearlstein, I think, understands that as far as championships go, this is the only one he can get. I don't know. I'm just ready to see if I'm just ready to see if what we saw in testing and what we saw in preseason. I just want to see if that all stacks up today. First time we've been on a street circuit at all. We didn't go to any street circuits in testing. A lot of faces I wasn't expecting to see as you went through the grid. A lot of faces I weren't expecting to see up that close to the front are up there. Jackson, wasn't expecting him to be up close to the front, and he's sitting outside pole. Birmingham is sitting in row 2. You think about Matthew Evans, Thomas Rogers, Gary Slater, who has had a abysmal preseason. You think about Pedro Harsk, Muhammad Ahmed, who were sitting right in the middle. What we thought we would see has already kind of been flipped on us. I'm just kind of waiting to see if Surfers does its magic. And, it's 108 laps. I'm expecting to see several cautions before this one's over, and I think the cautions are going to determine this one.
Well, we might as well sum it up for you here very quickly. We do have 3 manufacturers for the 2016 season of VRR sticks. That would be the Chevrolets, the Audis, and the Hondas. So far, there's been pros and cons very apparent for all 3 manufacturers from what we've seen in the preseason and the Indy 500 of 2015. Honestly, I can't really say that I have a manufacturer that I think is going to prevail the most throughout the season because they all have so many pros and cons. Do you see any today? Do you see any manufacturer running away with anything?
I think the front row kind of shows it pretty clearly. I think Honda's playing into this cool weather, this weather that, you know, makes reliability important. It's not going to be an all-out Chevrolet fest as we were expecting it to see. You see people like Stephanie Porter-Kelly and Cameron Jackson, people who have never raced at Surfers before, just on the front row like it's nothing. And I think they had the front row by a pretty decent margin. I think this is Honda's race, and I'm honestly willing to say that this is Honda's season.
Wow, that's a bold call.
You know, and it seems bold. Nari Jardine won at Bristol. Honda won. Kenosha won at Indy. Honda 2. And now we've got a Honda front row for Surfers. We're on our way to seeing a hat trick for Honda. I'm not saying that I'm really confident that they're just going to walk away with every single race, but they're already 2 races up in the Indian Championship, including the double points race. It's hard to make that up when you're that far down early in the season as they are.
But remember what we have seen already, though. The preseason completely seems like it's flipping. So perhaps the Hondas, sure they have the pole, but you know they've got that sheer speed. But can they handle 108 laps around this grueling street circuit? I think that's the question on everybody's mind, though. To be honest.
Oh yeah, very few in the field have actually been here before. These guys and girls have all been feeling out everything. I wouldn't be surprised if someone... I wouldn't be surprised if someone in the back row took it, honestly. I wouldn't be surprised if Van der Linden or Nash took it. Kenosha could just charge through the field like she did at Indy. Costa Montero, Nari Jardine. Both of the previous race winners are in the very back. And that's where they started when they won their races. So, I don't know. The magic of Surfers is that you don't know what's going to happen. And it's even more so the case today.
Well, it should be interesting. We have 108 laps, as already mentioned, and we have just been given word that the cars are ready to roll off. You hear the engines firing now, and the pace car rolls the grid, coming out of the pit lane on one pace lap, and you can see them all coming out, and I'm not sure... Oh, there is smoke out of the 7 car.
Ooh.
And already... Wow. And one of the people who have been really looking forward to this race, looking forward to the start of the season, it looks as if Evangeline Porter's race is over already.
Yeah, that is...
Wow.
That's disappointing. So, one of the favorites are done. That's a very strange...
it's quite uncharacteristic of a team with that much, you know, that
the
high
factory
up.
team. The factory team is automatically losing a driver. That is,
Yeah.
I guess, an equalizer?
Wow.
Obviously disappointment.
She's going to be very frustrated. I don't think we're even going to ask for any interviews to ask what happened for a couple of days, because knowing Evangeline, that is not going to go over well.
Yeah. Media is not her strong suit anyway, let alone when you don't even get to make the start. That is gut-wrenching. As a driver, that is one of the worst feelings you can have, knowing that you've got to make that lap back around. Knowing that you're not going to actually be able to race. It's...
Her sister, however, is going to be able to race, and she's going to be racing from the front of the field today. Or at least starting there.
Bookending the field at the start.
Here we go. There's the green lights you saw there as the GoDaddy billboard blocks the camera. Green flag is out here at Surfer's Paradise.
Hardy immediately just jumps with Porter Kelly. Just launched past Jackson.
Yeah, Jackson did not get off to the best start there.
Automatically lost 3 positions. Herrera got by him as well.
Yeah, Jackson falling back quite a bit there. Ooh, a little bit of a jerk as you see the field going by.
Yeah, that was Windross that made that jerk to avoid the wall.
Hardy now trying to catch Porter Kelly. The two of them already seem to have a bit of a breakaway.
Oh yeah, it's not that hard. It really isn't. If you've got a tandem going on at these road courses, it's pivotal that you have someone to work with, that you have someone to shadow. If you're in second place, you're in the best position because you're just following the leader. And because that leader is the pole sitter, you already know that they're the fastest person on the track. He's in an amazing position. You've got Herrera as a tail as well, and Herrera's been quite the surprise since he's showed up at Indy.
Well, you see Porter Kelly does lead the first lap, and Hardy still running second, as you mentioned already, Herrera third, and Jackson actually falls back to fourth. I think he did gain back a spot or two that he had lost.
He defended from Evans going into the chicane.
Yeah. See, Philbom. Or excuse me, Birmingham.
Birmingham sitting 6th. He's currently the highest Black Rose racing car sitting up there. We've got Rogers sitting 7th. I think he's already made a couple position gains.
Yeah, there's a lot of swapping really early on the road courses. I mean, I know I'm from the oval background and I'm coming from the commentary for where we only make left turns 90% of the time, but I have noticed that there is quite a lot of swapping in the first laps, and it is really amazing how with these open wheel cars how they manage to not crash on a track this tight and be able to get as close as they do to each other without touching.
Yeah, it's a massive game of trust. A massive game of trust, probably more severe in IndyCar than what it is in anywhere else. Well, anywhere else aside from motorcycles. Because you know that the slightest piece of debris could do some really severe damage. And some are better at the game than others. Some are better at being able to place their car, being able to make these moves, and feel confident about it. But all 28 people in this field, whether or not they made the start or not, they earned their way into this field. And that says something.
Oh yeah, I mean even the people who've never raced, aside from this series and the preseason, who have never raced in an IndyCar before, they still had to go through a lot of racing to get up here. You know, even though they're the slowest car on the track, or they're the, you know, they've made some, you know, we've seen silly mistakes out of Ahmed and a couple of other, you know, drivers, but they still really had to work their way to get to that point anyways, because this is one of the pinnacle points of open wheel racing, whether you take the oval route or you take the, you know, the road course only route. It's still one of the top spots to be in open wheel.
Yeah, it is. It very much is. To be in IndyCar, the most diverse schedule, one of the most diverse.
Oh, we got a car in the pit lane
rosters.
There. That's
So, Cat Devil Racing having problems. 2 factory cars. Ugh, that's not good.
Well, he's not. Obviously, it hasn't taken him out of the race, but looks like maybe a flat tire or something has caused that 99 to pit prematurely and is about to go a lap down.
Yeah, that's Porter Kelly and already in eyesight.
This track is relatively short, though.
Yeah, this layout is not the same layout that they ran back in 2006, back in 2007.
Now this is the shorter one.
It's about half the distance. They're getting ready to come to a hairpin here, the leaders are. And that hairpin used to actually be a chicane, and it would just take on. You would keep going along.
There you can see where the track would continue.
Yeah, and you're going to see where it could
rejoin. Yes. Oh, there are skid marks here, I noticed.
That might explain
That would
why
explain the Stephen Nash. Let's see if we can't... I didn't see any apparent damage on the car, but we'll see if we can't go back here and see if something had happened before there. So now we're back on lap 3. He's pitting. Now I'm not sure.
I wouldn't be surprised if he... No, he didn't.
No, he didn't, but there are more skid marks there, so apparently there's another accident worth noting. We'll just put the camera on static here and see if we can't figure out what all happened. There's a lot going on. There's a lot going on this track.
Those might have been from the start lap.
Perhaps so. There's a lot going on in this track. It's easy to miss things. Take a look. This must have been from the start lap. You're right. Oh!
Whoa!
We missed a big portion there.
Nash was involved in something.
Yeah, it surprised me there that was not a safety car with what I saw there, but let's take a look. This is on the opening lap.
The slalom. And that is...
Ooh!
Kenosha and Costa Montero.
And Kenosha, I do not know whether or not she got that car rolling. I know she got it rolling, but did she get it going again? Yeah, okay. You see a little bit of damage there on the wing. Not sure. Oh, and there's where Nash, so it was Nash there, but it was still first lap.
Yeah, and he fit 2 laps later.
So things become more clear as to what happened here.
Interesting.
Now looking back at the live pictures. And
Nash was involved. So yeah, so that's bad. 2 Honda factory drivers automatically in trouble.
Though they're lucky though that they're both still rolling. But you will notice there's Nash. There's Kenosha. However, Kenosha has stayed to the tail end of the field. So
former 2-time Formula 1 world champion and reigning Indy 500 champion. She knows how to handle that damage. I mean,
it's not
aerodynamically.
It's not too bad. Well,
aerodynamically.
I was about to say it wasn't too bad, but
it's worse. As far as aero goes, it's worse than it looks. It's almost always worse than it looks.
Yeah, I was about to say as well that it wasn't even that bad, but then I noticed that the suspension is bent quite a bit as well on the left front tire. So
yeah, it's actually a lot worse than it is, and the fact that she's holding on to Vandra Linden the way she has is phenomenal, and she hasn't pit yet.
No, and I do find it interesting that she stayed out. Meanwhile, Nash does pit, and he did not have. He obviously had some damage there from when he hit the wall, but I don't see any damage to any of the aero parts or any of the suspension parts from that accident. So
it might have been something with the rear suspension.
I would imagine that's what it was.
With the rear side.
Yeah.
And that can affect how fast you accelerate. That can affect your torque.
It could even affect your grip on the acceleration.
Oh yeah. It can affect a lot of things depending on it. And he had a couple corners to figure out what was wrong.
He's still in the race though, and that, you know.
He's still in the race, and he's still on the lead lap. So if a caution were to come out now, he's safe. Well, he would be relatively safe. I mean, he'd get to catch back up.
Yeah, but you would still have. He's not out of contention, but he's
still away from Porticelli.
Is he actually? Because we are not able to look at anything other than visual between slower cars and
Yeah, that was a corner difference, and it's now almost half a straight difference.
That would be the fresher tires, I'm assuming. Although, would that have much of an effect 9 laps in?
It wouldn't have much of an effect if he only has 3 laps fresher tires. It would have more of an effect like later into a run, like 20, 30 laps in, but not now. In fact, Kelly probably would have the advantage because she's gotten into that sweet spot now.
That's a good point, though. It does make you wonder, where is he getting that speed from now?
I mean, Nash is already up 1.
Van der Linden there with a very nice pass on those two.
Got past Costa Montero and Dakota, and Kenosha, I think, has dropped back now.
Yeah, Kenosha has. Well, or
Dakota's.
No, she's actually
Dakota's.
She's actually gained.
She's actually gained.
Getting around Van der Linden. Now she's got a long way to go to Marie Jardine, but
I think Dakota's got something wrong. He's way off pace.
Oh yeah. I mean, I thought he had just maybe gotten a bad run off the corner, but now that we hit that straightaway, yeah, definitely something looks. That would be interesting to note, because that would be the second Black Rose racing car. Into the pits he comes.
Ooh, that's not good.
Could we be looking at our second Black Rose Racing retirement before even the 10% mark of the race? And that is Kenosha in the pit lane as well. So she finally decides to do something about the damage.
I think she realizes, hey, my car's this good with damage.
Let's fix it. Does not look like they're going to give up on the 22. Looks like it might have been a tire or suspension or something. Something else causing some damage.
Van der Linden cut it. I'm surprised it wasn't any contact.
Van der Linden, though, a very classy move there. It was a textbook move because he got back in line. He took his line the way he needed to take it. Did a great job. And gained some spots in the process. New paint scheme there on Jesus Cristobal.
DuPont, throwback to Jeff Gordon, who recently retired from the Sprint Cup Series.
Yeah, this is definitely an interesting look.
He gets to do our job.
Yeah. That's
sitting in front of Sebastian Devereaux.
To quote the AARP commercial, and please don't copyright, but that thing about driving around in circles, that's over for him.
Yeah.
But I was kind of thinking when I heard that DuPont was going to be joining that 2014. I was kind of curious about how that would look on an IndyCar. I was thinking, ooh, that's going to be weird looking. I actually am pretty favorable for that paint scheme. I really do like it.
It's pretty classic. Yeah, I'm not going to deny that at all. It's really classic. Well done.
Yeah, it is very well done
by the designers of that car. That is an amazing piece of work.
Wonder how much partnership, if any, Hendrick Motorsport has been looking at. With the Team Kate Upton team collaboration, because of course that 24 is trademarked. So
yeah, it is.
And he does carry that in the GT Planet Fantasy Series as well. Now there is a little bit of affiliation. Hendrick supplies the engines to their stock car team, but we do not know. Or I don't know if there is an affiliation at all with them in the IndyCar team.
I think it'd be a little bit difficult. You're talking about transferring from...
Well, not engine supplier, but, something else to the team.
Like Garage Cruise or something.
Yeah, that would make some sense. Obviously, the partnership is there, but...
Nice little line going on here. You've got Delphreit and Ahmed.
Yeah, it's a nice string of cars, and they sound beautiful here as they echo off the buildings.
Yeah, people have asked this question, like, where is the Gold Coast? This is the Gold Coast. It's the actual name of the town. It's Gold Coast. People have trouble wrapping their heads around it. This is probably one of the best places to be in Australia. This venue has been around for decades, and there's nothing wrong with it at all. I mean, it's the middle of summer here. It is literally the middle of summer. Kids are actually off for summer break. This is a really interesting place to be, especially if you don't live here.
So what a great time to throw the kicker to an inaugural season of an IndyCar series.
And then from here, we get to go to Japan. We get to go to Motegi.
That's going to be a great race.
So, first 2 races of the season are races that have been widely demanded and very popular among the fans. Surface Paradise, gone for a decade. It's back. Motegi hasn't used the oval configuration since 2010. So first time in almost 6 years that we'll see the oval in use. And if you're a fan of Honda, who's currently leading this race, if you're a fan of Kinoshita, who won Indy, it's going to be a pretty important race.
And another thing that we noted at the end of the IndyCar, or the Indy 500 race, and it's slightly comical but also very interesting, we have yet to see in an official race, that's not including the test sessions, the official race, which is the Bud Shootout, or not, excuse me, not the Bud Shootout, the Monster Energy Shootout, and the Indianapolis 500. We have yet to see a male winner in the series.
Yeah.
Usually it's the other way around.
Stephanie Portichelli's is just... Stephanie Portichelli's got that gap now. That's looking like that streak might continue if she's able to keep this going.
Could you imagine if the trend was no longer a female wins in the motorsport, and it became a male beat the chicks?
That would be... I think it'd be a little bit of hilarity, but all 5 females in the series all have amazing talent, all are spectacular. There's nothing to be ashamed of in it at all. It's probably a godsend, more like, because you see often that it's always the girls are the automatic underdogs, the fan favorites, but they're the underdogs. And now you're kind of having the root for the guys, because the girls are really kicking it in gear. The thing about Portichelli, she's on pole position. She's pulling a decent gap. It's difficult. It's difficult to say who you want to root for, because everyone's got reasons to root for them. You think about the girls, who apparently are favorites to win. We figured that out. You think about people like Hardy, who's an underdog. Herrera, who came very last second, almost as late as what Sakura Ishibashi, who's going to be debuting at Indy, almost as late as what Sakura is going to be, and he's sitting here on podium. This is the most flipped field that I've seen. You see Cameron Jackson sitting there in 4th. None of the people I was expecting to see up front are up front. So, I mean, we've already had a DNF. I don't know how wrong my predictions can be. I was thinking Kenosha's going to run away with it, and she's already a lap down. I was thinking Porter was going to charge to the field, and she's out before the start. In fact, I've got to question whether or not Porter's going to get points for that. That is a very legitimate question.
I believe she did take the green flag. I think it would actually come down to the point of where her pit box was.
Yeah, that is a very genuine question. If she crossed the line, then it's legal. But she started 16th, and that's pretty far back in the pit boxes. One thing we're going to have to see from VRR is if there are points scored from this for her, because if that's the case, then she essentially showed up for nothing. Which would be probably the ultimate disappointment. You see the 96 starting to reel back in the 84. Herrera's been within range of these two the entire time. It's been this way since the start, and we're 18 laps in.
Yeah, we're noticing now that the cars are starting to drop off a little bit on the lap times as the tires start to wear out a bit. But I do see Hardy is reeling in, at least maybe the actual telemetry is not showing it because of the way they're hitting the line, but Clayton is starting to catch Porter Kelly just a little bit now as the run starts to continue on.
Yeah, I think Porter Kelly, might have wasted a little bit too much trying to break away from the start. That might have been the downfall there. We're going to see when they get across the timing loop this time as to if that gap is actually shrinking.
And it is, definitely.
It is by 0.3. So he's pulling her in.
Meanwhile, Herrera is still holding on to third. Not too far out of this, actually.
He gained about the same amount of time. So it is Porter Kelly that's slower. And not just Hardy being faster because Herrera's doing the same thing. Cameron didn't gain anything, but Hardy and Herrera did.
That would either suggest that Hardy and Herrera both have sped up, or that...
Ooh, wow.
Ooh, wow, they've caught up quite a bit there. They really did gain. You think
Porter
there might
Kelly
be...
was really slow.
You imagine there might be something wrong with Porter Kelly's car.
You would hope not. She's had an amazing start, but
it could be a possibility.
That's about half a second she just lost.
You
looks
don't,
like she might have gained back a little bit of that.
Not sure. You don't think she could burn off the tires by that much?
No, not this early. I don't think.
And apparently the gap stayed exactly the same, 0.71. But
yeah, she had an amazing exit onto the home straight. That's
and the caution lights are out. Something's happened on the track. Safety car deployed, the first one of the season on lap number 20. Looking around, it does not appear to be any apparent.
It was deployed after Stephanie had crossed the line. Because when we were watching them go across the line, it was green. Yeah, we will continue to keep the cameras on here and see them take the caution. That's a big break for Porter Kelly. But then we'll go back and see a lot pit. I wouldn't be surprised if everyone just comes in now. Oh yeah, there you can see the skid marks, so we know where it happened. Wouldn't be surprised if someone kind of tied the tire barrier. Well, maybe. Tie the tires and pull to a stop. That's at the line though. Porter Kelly does hold on. So it's Porter Kelly, Hardy, Herrera, Jackson, and at the line, Evans, and Birmingham, and so on. Rogers, Windross, Slater, Kenosha a lap down. Yeah, Kenosha's a lap down. It's going to be Cristobal, who is really far back. I didn't realize that line was being held up that bad. Perhaps that's where the wreck happened. It wouldn't surprise me. Well, we know where we know it was right here, so we can kind of pinpoint where it happened. Now it's just a matter of when it happened. Let's go ahead and take a look at that static camera. And go back about a lap here. Ooh! That looked like Venalainen. It was. I think. Yeah, it was definitely Venalainen. Ooh, and there's Riviera into the wall. Okay, this looks like it transpired a while ago. Oh, there was another. Ooh. This happened more than half a lap before the actual wreck. Looks like Legault was slow. No rhyming intended there. Legault was slowing. Looks like Venalainen got caught up behind. Looks like the same thing we saw with Dakota earlier, only there was no really room to pass. Not as much skill for that one. Or room.
Yeah, here's Riviera.
Rivera tries bombing it in.
Riviera impatient, but did make a nice pass there. Although I believe
Hit
that's
the wall though.
Yeah, that was the corner where he tagged the wall. Did make the nice pass, just hit the wall after the fact. Now coming through here. Oop. Then a line in. Not quite the tire wall, Hardy. You were close, but. Clip the tire wall.
That was it.
Or clip the.
That was it. That was enough to draw it out.
Yeah, that was interesting. I like how that was enough to throw out the caution, but the spins on the lap 1 incidents weren't. Kind of wondering what the stewards are, what T-shirts they're wearing.
I think Kenosha's. I think it makes sense why Kenosha's wasn't thrown because she wasn't on track. She came to a stop off track, and Nash never came to a stop.
But here we see the pitters, and some people still not even to the queue yet because of Legault. So this is, oh my. There's a safety car. Everybody who could pit did pit. Now you see that second group coming into the pits just now because of trying to get around Legault. Oh my goodness. That was avoidable. That was totally avoidable, and that shouldn't have happened. I don't know if you guys caught that, but I heard the crunching and I saw parts flying. Contact in the pit lane, something that's been happening a lot lately, and I don't understand why. But, and now these guys and girls are just now getting into the pits.
They got past Legault finally.
I'm not really sure why they didn't throw, or why they didn't keep the pit lane closed there. Obviously, the field was in 3 packs.
And it looks like we're going green this lap.
Are we?
Lights on the safety car were off.
Yeah, that is. I don't agree with this at all. This is live. And
safety car is way far ahead.
Safety car all by itself. Car's still in the pit lane. You can't do this, guys. Put the yellow back out.
This
is definitely not
interesting.
Yeah, this is a bit silly.
This is a bit quick. This might have been, bunch up the leaders and then everyone else behind just don't get involved. That seems really pity.
This is
really. I'm not really going for it right now. I mean, I understand that at the end of the race, just don't bunch everyone up. But everyone's kind of still got a shot. And
well, not these guys here. We got cars just now coming out of their pit lane and they throw the green flag. We got cars still coming into the pit lane. Herrera's in the pits.
Herrera and Hardy made contact.
Because, yeah, they made the contact in the pit lane. The green flag's out, I suppose. I'm not sure about that.
Let's watch how the start goes.
I am. This should be interesting.
Already 2x2 in the back. That's 4th.
Yeah, I really don't agree with throwing the green when we did, because there's still cars scattered all over.
People like Raven and Marie Jardine, that essentially just killed their race. I mean, unless they're able to just run away, and if you're trying to run away from Porter Kelly, you're kind of in a depressed state of mind anyway.
Forgive my PG-13 language here, but these guys in the back just kind of got screwed.
Oh yeah.
And I'm not sure. I really don't know, because usually, VRR is really good about their stewarding. I'm not sure why. First off, I'm not sure why the pits. I'm not sure why the pits.
Think about Indy, how amazing it was.
Yeah, I mean,
I think this might.
And the caution's out again.
Let's go back.
Yeah, something's happened. You think that was? I don't see any immediate.
I'm calling it being in the same spot then a line and crashed. That seems to be the problem spot.
Well, we'll see.
And Herrera getting by.
Yeah, we're looking for skid marks right now. First of all, I'm not sure why the pit's even open, because nobody was there. That was from earlier. I believe there's fresh marks.
Skid mark. That's a lot of skid marks right there.
Yeah, same exact spot. But I'm not really sure, first off, why the pits opened when they did, and I'm not sure why we got the one to go when literally nobody was behind the pace car.
Ooh, that looked like Harsk.
Well, I believe it might have been. Let's try and get the cameras manipulated here. My apologies.
I believe. Don't hold me on it. It was somewhere around him. I remember seeing the...
Yeah, that would make sense because right there you saw Dakota got up there. And that's enough to throw out the yellow again.
Yeah, it's a narrow part of the track, and you don't have a lot of room to maneuver.
No, and
now the good thing about this is that with the timing of this, a lot of the field's already bunched together. So this helps those that were off come back up.
And I'm glad that one came out. That was still though whether
this might have corrected some things, even though why I think this is not in VRR's hands. I think this is in the track officials' hands, not in VRR.
Because it's on like, and now we're back.
That's a boneheaded move.
Yeah, we're back to the live pictures now, and it's unlike VRR to do something like that. So I gotta say, you're probably right. It had to do with something out of their hands, because VRR would not do something like that if they had a say in it. See a lot of people coming in.
We'll find out. We'll find out tomorrow.
Well, the 10 and the 24 collided in the pits. Sorry to cut you off there again, though, but
yeah, that was a lot of very uncharacteristic moves. We saw Indy that went off, despite the fact that it was a crash fest. It went off without a hitch. Everything went according to every single plan laid out. And it's like everyone forgot what that is. That is Herrera with a stop and go.
Yeah, Herrera's got a lot of issues in these past 3 laps. Everything's just gone to pieces for him. He was running third, is high-ass third. Now the 2 car is the leader, is what scoring tells me, but I'm not sure if that's the case or not.
I believe the 2 might not have pit.
Yeah.
I believe everyone currently in front of the 84 have not pit.
Yep.
They might have been a part of that pack that was in the very back, and they just leapfrogged everyone to get up there. Because we are going green again this time.
Guys,
so I think at this point they've got most of the field.
Yeah, that's a little more understandable than last time. I'll give them this one.
Because Herrera was serving a penalty.
Oh, is that?
You don't wait for the penalty.
Ooh.
That is
Riviera.
That is Rivera. We saw Herrera come in on the green last time. It is Rivera this time.
They're just not giving him enough laps, I don't think.
But Rivera pit.
Maybe. I'm not sure what happened.
Was he serving a driver?
I'm not entirely sure. Is there a full moon tonight?
I have no idea. That is a lot of boneheaded decisions from the pit boxes.
Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of strange calls happening right now, and you see there, oof, quite the gap. Probably one of the bigger gaps of the day right there.
Teammates.
Yep.
I believe this might be a little bit deliberate. Teammates and engine manufacturer in the top 3. Rogers running away with it. You've got Evans in second, Windross in third,
Devereaux, Ahmed, Roby. Haven't talked about him yet today.
Roby got past Porticelli on the start. Porticelli's starting to slowly drop back.
She's out of the clean air.
But that last lap, 3 of the 4 female drivers still running were in the top 10.
Yeah.
Marie Jardine dropped out of the top 10 this lap. But you've got Porticelli and you've got Ben Lyman. Marie Jardine is 11th, as you're seeing him scroll through the ticker. You see Porter out of the race. Out of the race at the start. It's heartbreaking. Hart sitting 12th, Hardy 13th, Cameron Jackson 14th. So the front row has fallen to pieces. The first 2 rows have fallen to pieces.
And you called it the people from the back were going to be the people migrating to the front, but I don't think it was going to be
Not
anything.
how I thought.
Not like
Not
this.
how I was expecting it. I was expecting to be able to just charge through, and they just kind of outsmarted, I guess. I don't know.
I mean,
You throw a wild card, and I guess some people caught it. Evans is just walking away with it. I mean, I guess if you're Audi, you're not complaining.
no,
If you're Chevrolet and you're Honda, you're throwing a fit.
If you're Chevrolet,
I wouldn't necessarily say that.
apparently if you're Chevrolet, you're just hoping that you cross the line.
Yeah, that is still a shocker to me. The fact that 2 Black Rose Racing cars suffered problems that early. None of that makes too much sense.
Riding forward will go.
I think he's fixed his speed issue because he was one of those that were being slow. Looks like he's picked up the pace again.
Makes you wonder what it was though that caused that.
I think possibly an issue could be a speed limiter problem, like a pit limiter.
Really?
It's one of the it's not common, but sometimes there are issues with the steering wheel to where it thinks that the pit limiter is somewhat active, but because you're in high revs and because you're in 6th gear, it just starts inhibiting your speed. It starts glitching exactly how fast you're actually going. I don't know. It just seems that to go that slow on a straightaway, it seems really awkward for it to just be fine, and if it was an actual engine issue, they would have pulled the car out.
Maybe it was something related to a tire. Not necessarily a puncture, but just deflation.
That wouldn't cause that much speed problem though, because on the corners he was fine. It was just the straightaways. A lot of thought that has to go into that, but it isn't an engine issue because it's been happening to Honda and Chevy. That's kind of weird. But Legault looks like he's found the speed again. Either replaced the wheel, replaced the steering wheel, or something. They figured out what they needed to do. It kind of doesn't mean anything at this point because of how far back he is. But he's in it, and there's points to be earned.
Yeah, and anything can happen because we already saw some strange things happen with the caution flags before now, and anything, if the top 20 cars all wreck out, and there you go, top 5. That was pretty much what we saw at Indy. See, now looking at the 2 car.
Almost 2-second gap over his team leader, Matthew Evans. Yeah, Audi's loving this current lineup right now.
Taking a look back there, the 2 MLP themed cars there.
There's the tail, 4th and 5th. Devereaux and Ahmed.
Good run for both of them.
Oh yeah. Given Devereaux's nasty crash at Indy.
Oof. A lot of people had nasty crashes.
That incident. Yeah, a lot of people did.
If I remember correctly, Jackson was in the catch fence twice, 2 different times.
Yeah.
And then rolled over and hit his team owner, who later went on to win the race.
Yeah, that was a race to remember. This race hopefully doesn't have that many cars knocked out of the race by the time this is over.
Well, so far we've only had the 1 retirement, and that was not even a wreck. It was just we don't know what it was, and I don't think anybody's going to be willing enough to go to the trailer and ask at this point.
Yeah. Let's not make surfers ground zero. I like this place as a vacation home.
It's a very nice place. We've been partying up in the hotel waiting for this race, man. It's been a good hotel.
A lot of preseason festivities have happened here. A lot of celebrations. You know, it's coming. It's finally here. The season that we thought was so far out there.
And the hype they've been making for this too, since it's the inaugural season.
And it's surfers. It's surfers, and you don't need to explain anything to Australians that surfers is a magical place. And to be able to showcase that to everyone now is really good, and it's a great testing ground for these guys. You see Thomas Rogers, he needs a breakout race. He needs this. Matthew Evans in the same boat. Ferris Windross somehow survives Indy. Putting more of that amazing skill to use sitting on the podium right now. Devereaux trying to rebound. Ahmed trying to rebound. Roby trying to rebound. Porticelli trying to rebound. A lot of the top 10 are trying to, get on the right foot because they did fall really hard at Indy. This race it's so important on so many different levels. It's hard to describe for those that don't know what surfers is or don't understand how important this season opener is. It's a milestone on many different occasions, and everyone here is doing the best that they can. And it's weird.
Now we can see as well this battle in the top 5. Might as well go ahead and give you a driver's side view. Ride on board with Trevor Roby for a lap here. And listen to the engine purr.
Couple sets of slaloms or double and couple chicanes. Surfers. Back in the 06 layout, those didn't exist. Those were added when they changed layouts, when they shortened the layout. There's been discussions ongoing on if VRR wants to use the long layout, or if they want to keep using this layout. With the way this race is going, I might take my chances on a large layout.
I would too.
I think that might be part of the problem, is that the timing of everything is so lost because everyone's going off of old data, old open world data, on a track that was double the distance. 2 laps then may have been fine. 2 laps now, not so fine under caution. But just look at the city. Just be able to sit. Say you're working on Sunday afternoon, if you have an unlucky job like that, and you're working on Sunday afternoon, you can just turn around and watch the race underneath you. I love street circuits.
Yeah, you can see how much, there's a lot of tracks that are mentally exerting. This track definitely one of them. But this track is really physically exerting as well, especially with the slaloms we were talking about. You can just see the driver's hands as they make their way. Not only do you have to keep judging, ooh, can I go through here at this much speed and not hit that wall? Because there's no room for error here. And we've already seen it today. If you miss it, you miss it big time.
Yeah, this track, this would be almost akin to running NASCAR running them at Edmonton, another street circuit in Canada. It's akin to that. It requires that much finesse because it's not natural. Street circuits usually they're about 90-degree corners. There isn't any slaloms like what there is here. And a lot of times there are elevation changes. You think about places like Monaco, you think about Trois Rivières. There's elevation changes a lot of times. However subtle it may be, it gives these guys a break. And this is completely flat. It's really hard because all those G-forces are just purely lateral. You're either facing right G-forces or left G-forces, and it's really difficult to be able to do it for hours. Just to complete 200 miles is a godsend for these guys. The fatigue at this point has started to set in for some of these guys and girls. Just the complexity of this is something that it's really impossible to duplicate.
And you were talking about the track being flat. And guys, this track has no banking whatsoever. And
yeah. It's all in the line.
Yeah.
What line do you take?
It's not and even that though, but I mean, these guys are still pushing really fast times, despite the fact that this track has no banking. It's very, very tight, even for a street circuit, and you're still pushing, 180, 190, and, still pushing 120 in the corners. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, this is a track that reminds me of surfers is Sao Paulo. Back when IndyCar ran it, up until like 2013. It was really, really flat. It was coast side, I believe. And it was pretty complicated. There were a lot of chicanes in it. This reminds me a lot of that because the margin for error is just so minuscule. If you crash big, and we haven't seen any huge crashes. The only DNF has been an engine DNF. But the risk for completely ruining people's day by doing what we've seen Venäläinen do, what we've seen Harsk do, it's so high. It's really frightening watching these guys because just a slight misjudgment, say someone blinks, or say steering wheel locks up. It gets really, 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 really frightening.
Yeah, and you were talking about anything can happen. We saw how these cars are getting. A couple of these cars happened to Dakota, and it happened to Lego. The cars just slow up. Well, you come out of a corner at 140 mile an hour, and they're in your blind spot. It gets even scarier there because now you've got two cars running into each other, possibly, and there's not enough reaction time to slow down. Then what do you do? And when those two cars crash and they block up the track, what does everybody else behind them do?
Yeah, and with a flat track like this, there really is only one line. Passing is going into braking zones. This is one of those tracks where you've just got to hope that you're in range to outbrake them. So if someone blocks that line, say someone wrecks in the slalom and they're right there on the apex, you either jump the curb and risk wrecking your car, or you run into them and wreck your car.
Clearly, there's
It's
a lot
just-
of options.
Oh yeah, a ton of options, and none of them appealing. Unless you're up for, just sacrificing yourself to the gods.
You can go left and wreck your car. You can go right, wreck the car. You can go straight, wreck the car. Or you can find that little gap that's maybe 1.01 car widths wide and try and shoot that one.
And then get crushed.
Yeah, and then go into a fence.
Yeah, you brake really hard, you get run over. You don't brake at all, you run into someone. Surfer, it's really interesting at surfers, and we're gonna see it even more as we get to places like Cleveland, the airport track. Different lines, but because there's different lines, it's kind of a pack race. And you turned one person one direction, and suddenly you've got a 5-6 car pileup. It's gonna be this is one of those tracks that's just like, please, if you wreck, please face the right direction.
And keep it going at more than 5 miles an hour, because you don't want to be stopped. You don't want to be stopped anywhere. There's nowhere safe to stop on this track. So if something goes really wrong, you better bring it to the pits quick.
Do not pull a Memo Gidley. Please do not pull a Memo Gidley.
Noticed on the scoring that a couple of cars were starting to drop off the pace there. The 24 of Jesus Cristobal and Alan Herrera dropping off. Well, you saw in the end of that shot there.
Herrera's right there. Yeah, they both are.
Yep, they're both about to go a lap down. Saw a car out of the pit there. That's Dakota. I do not believe that one was scheduled. So here's Cristobal, Herrera. Got Rogers and Evans. You can see from the speed charts here, 150 almost before braking for the slalom, and still running 70, 80 in there, almost 90. That is a lot of G-forces to be doing the back and forth motion, and if you mess up one of those slaloms, you mess up all the slaloms. So
yeah, it's a lot like Mackett and Beckett at Silverstone. You miss one part, and you've butchered the entire lap, essentially. You spend the rest of your lap thinking about how bad was that.
yeah.
And for Rogers, right now, you're catching up to Herrera, and you're catching up to Cristobal. You want to get by them, and you know that they're not taking the slalom the right way. You've just got to be so patient.
Well, you were talking about patience. I'm not sure if that was patience, but it was sure a textbook move of Rogers on Herrera.
It wasn't so much. I don't think you really need patience. Rogers just outran him. He went towards the wall, used the benefit of the air valence, sucking him closer to the wall, and just breaking the air, and just flew by him.
Now stuck behind Cristobal, though, but wouldn't really say stuck behind because Cristobal's still on the pace.
And remember that Herrera's holding up Evans and Windross.
Yeah.
The Audi top three have just rocketed away from Devereaux and the rest of the field.
Something interesting.
Behind.
Go ahead.
Behind Windross, Devereaux is 21, essentially 22 seconds back. 18 seconds back from Windross. These Audi guys figured it out.
Well, you got to take into consideration now, as you see the exact same move we saw last lap happening now. You got to take into consideration here that I'm starting to notice a trend. The top three break away, because we saw it at the beginning of the race too with Herrera, Hardy, and Porter Kelly. The top three break away, the first two being closer than the third. Not sure what is exactly causing that, but you know, this time it is the Audis that are pulling away, but last time it was a mix. So
and it's also difficult, and the difference between this particular situation and the last situation, there wasn't a 21-second gap between third and fourth.
No.
There was only about a second gap. Everyone was still relatively close. They were more evenly spaced than this. We've gone a lot longer this time under green than what we did the first stint. So that might have something to do with it. Everyone's went on a different strategy at this point. Now we see what's working and what isn't, and what apparently is working is not pitting under the second caution, because these three just ran away. But these three up front will pit before anyone else. That is a guarantee. These three will pit first.
But you gotta think,
it's just a matter of if.
Do they get enough of a gap opened up that they can put a delta? They can do the whole pit stop and come out and lead still.
they would need people to pit with them. They would need the first few to pit with them in sequence. Because if Devereaux decides to stay out at this point, because the delta is still so big, Devereaux would just rocket by and have like a 15-second lead by the time Rogers got out.
But there's still a few laps
the only
before the
time,
pits.
Oh, there's still plenty of time. Plenty of time for them to open that gap even further. You see the lap traffic just hurting Rogers and Windross down to 4 seconds. And Devereaux is he's not losing as much time as the other two Audis are. And that's another thing that's helping this time is that the 3 that broke away were Audis, whereas the 3 that tried to break away in the first time were all different engines.
But you know,
Porticelli was on. Actually, no. Herrera and Porticelli were on though.
Yeah, this is the perfect site right here. When you're the leader, nobody in front of you, nobody behind you. Good to go.
And he is gone.
Yep.
He is. He's at this point. He's like, if we don't change the car, and he doesn't have any reason to change the car. If you change the car, you've done royally goofed. If you change the car, you've made a mistake. But you're the fastest car on track. Why would you? And how long would you push it? Knowing that if Evans and Windross want to catch you, they have to pit before you. They have to undercut you. And if Devereaux and anyone behind him want to catch up, they need a miracle.
Well,
or caution.
Well, we will. It seems likely from what we've seen so far and what we are going going off of from what the first 47 laps have been, there will probably be another caution. It seems like there will be. We're on a long green flag run, and tires are starting to wear, and people are starting to get a little impatient with each other after riding around behind people for 27 laps. So people are going to start making some moves that don't make sense, I feel like. And it seems like I feel like we will have a caution soon.
You did bring up the desperation point pretty well. People are going to get desperate. You're getting close to the halfway point, and I believe that's actually lap 54. So,
yes.
And people are going to start getting desperate because they know that they're getting close to the point of no return. If you're Kenosha, if you're Herrera, Cristobal, Dakota, you're kind of already there. You're just kind of trying to salvage anything you can. But if you're someone like Devereaux, you're sitting fourth. And on paper, fourth is amazing. Fourth is fantastic. But on track, when you're 25 seconds off the leader, when you're 25 seconds off, on a road course that isn't even that big, that hurts. That genuinely hurts. This track is just barely the size of Monaco. That is painful.
But you also got to think here, these guys are on the older tires, and they're still pulling away.
Yeah, that is what is really surprising me. They're still pulling away, and they're still pulling away with the older tires. Now, granted, it's only a couple laps.
Yeah.
But now it starts making a difference. Or it's supposed to.
Makes you really see how much the clean air can help. Or even not even just the clean air, but just the sense of being okay, I'm in the top spot.
Nothing can touch you aside from
the walls,
lightning.
The car, a lot of things can touch you.
Steering wheel just falling off.
Yeah, I would retract that statement. There are a lot of things that can touch you from the lead.
There's a lot of things that can go wrong, and I've seen my fair share of things go wrong. So yeah, I will say that just because cars can't hit you doesn't mean things can't go wrong.
And I feel like that it might be even more of an issue because they, you're looking at Thomas Rogers here. He's got a very nice lead right now. He's, do you think he might be, part of that, the inexperience with riding around in these cars? You think he might get too comfortable?
At a street circuit, that isn't necessarily as terrible as you would think it is. On an oval, it's pretty detrimental because you start losing that adrenaline rush. You start becoming more aware of things. It's one of those things where you become more aware on a road course or a street circuit because you're no longer focusing on what's behind you or what's around you. You're focusing on just hitting your marks, and that's why he's pulled away, is because he knew that he had a teammate behind him, and he could just focus on driving forward.
But if that guard does go down after so long, with nobody in front, nobody behind, you're hitting your marks, you're hitting your marks, you're hitting your marks. If you have that split second and you think about something else, because of the fact that you're no longer in as high as an adrenaline rush as you're in, is that something that could, be the difference between getting the best lap and slamming into the pit? Never mind what I was just saying there, he's in the pits. Does anybody follow him? No. Well, I was wrong, yes.
Let's see, so Rogers is in. Evans is in. This is a bit early, I think. Well, a couple laps early. Then again, they are a couple laps earlier than everyone else.
Well, there's I believe that's Ahmed. There's Roby. There's Jackson, Harsk. I don't know. I guess this is there's Rivera. I'm guessing this is the sequence here.
I'm gonna see who all jumps it.
You forget how long this pit lane is. And you see Jackson at the bottom of your screen. Here comes Ahmed and Roby. Left side of your screen, that was Devereaux. Venelainen. I see Rivera. Oh! Wow! That was kind of sketchy. Is that Windross, I believe, in the pits now?
Yeah.
So the pit cycles are starting. There's Kenosha, there's Hardy, there's Birmingham, Porter Kelly, Herrera. I believe that's Cristobal. Yep. Lots of takers here. Goes Herrera. I'm looking at these guys and girls. They're coming in the pits, coming out of the pits, and it seems to me like you said that they were pitting a little early. I don't know about that. I think that it was, because we're getting to the halfway point.
I think Thomas pit early, and everyone else followed.
So you're thinking Thomas got lucky?
I'm thinking everyone bought what Thomas was sending out. I think everyone I think was aware of the risk of trying to overshoot the pit window. Rogers manipulated it like a beast. Literally, and he deserves that because everyone literally bought into it, and he got away with it.
Ooh, that was quite the chicane cut there. He's not in the clean air anymore.
No, he is not.
Behind Legault, having the issues earlier. That first caution that had a lot of people on the track, off the track, and the caution's out again. As I mentioned that. Who's it for this time? Saw the safety car was out. Do not appear to see any big damage. It looks as if it's just another spin or slide or something. And looked like it was in turn 1. Oh my word! Well, I was definitely wrong about what I said. That's the 50 of Evans. What in the world? Somebody was upside down. I'm not sure who that was. Might have been
Sheer stupidity.
what happened here. We'll see. Coming down the front stretch.
I think this is just a product of just sheer.
Oh, the caution's already out. This didn't even bring out the caution.
This was after the fact.
Yeah, what in the world happened here? Let's go back to them and see what happened here, because obviously car's in the air. Oh my gosh. Oh wow. That's a huge hit.
Yeah, it is.
Oof. That one definitely concerning a bit there. Because there are no safer barriers here. That's just straight concrete. So.
And the fence was involved.
Yes, and that is again another rollover crash, another catch fence crash.
Just when I was about to say, I was pretty confident that this was not going to have any of these rollover crashes that we saw at Indy, and I'm glad I didn't, because I would have been wrong.
Well, BK Glover just decides to bin it, really.
So, the red flag's coming out.
Yeah, again.
First red flag of 2016, but that's just awful. Awful.
I believe we did see Evans moving around in the car, but do not have any idea about Jet Raven, as he is still upside down. He was the one who had gotten into the actual catch fence. Now that was a racing deal, I think. I don't know. Upon first glance, it looked like it was just racing. I don't think there is anybody was really at fault. The caution's already out here. Now, I think they're still racing here, because the leader had not taken the caution, I do not think. So that's just, oh gosh, that's just a hit that it doesn't matter if you're in the car, in the booth, in the stands. That takes your breath away right there.
Yeah, it does.
On board here, gonna ride on board with Barris Windross. Hold on.
Teammates.
Oh, you heard that, and they did take the caution. So they were slowing. They're in the process of slowing down when that happened. So that's some good news, because at least it means that they had slowed down a bit. as small as a slowdown as it was. They had slowed down, and that's good news.
I think we're going to step away for a second. This is one of those that we need to let VRR do its job. This is where VRR steps in. We saw Evans move around. We haven't seen anything from Raven.
Not because he isn't, just because we can't see.
Yeah.
No angle.
We literally can't see. So I think we're going to step away and see if we can pick up some information on what's going on.
Yeah, we're 54 laps in, exactly the halfway point here at Surfers Paradise. We'll be back with some more here in VRR Straight Talk IndyCar Wireless Series. Hello everybody, welcome back to Surfers Paradise. We're still under the red flag as the final cleanup is being finished. It might be worth noting that both Jet Raven and Michael Evans were able to get out of their car under their own power and walked away from what has been a pretty scary crash.
Yeah, we've said this so much coming into this season that the safety of these cars are phenomenal, and this is just another case in point of how amazing it is to have both Raven and Evans to walk out unaided, essentially. It's a great job.
Now we are going to ride on board here with the number 50 and the number 97, try and give you a better idea of what happened here. They both definitely they slowed down. They were slowing down. They took the caution, but just complications from that. Remember, the caution only came out for a spin exiting the pit. Those are some pretty big hits right there. Luckily, they both walked away.
Yeah, I don't know why Raven moved. I don't know why Raven moved up, unless he was anticipating the safety car pulling out immediately. Don't know why he would move into Evans like that, knowing that there was a car on the outside. But happy to see both of them walk away as everyone just slowly starting to finish up track repairs. Just another one of those surfer accidents that we can't really explain why.
Yeah, we're just glad everybody's all right though. And see, that was from. There we go. See, the pit stops are happening here as we've gone back to caution flag, and believe Thomas Rogers will take the lead again.
Still, Swift Autosport 1-2. You've got Mohammed Ahmed climb through the field, sitting in second.
Nari Jardine up there as well.
Trevor Roby, Venalainen. That's top 5. You've got Del Pret. It is Del Pret. I know I pronounced it wrong earlier, but it is Del Pret. Porter Kelly has made her way back up into the top 10. Harsk is in 8th. You see, if we're looking down, you see Legault in 10th, Windross 11th. Missed out on that accident with Evans and Raven. Devereaux dropped to 12th in pit stops. You've got Cameron Jackson 13th. You just see the field getting ready to see 2 more retirements, in addition to Angel Porter, who DNS'd.
And what?
What?
Well, that's 3 straight cautions now. Green flag back in the air and people following the pace car. Oh my word, look at that behind them. 3 wide into the first corner.
This is a disaster.
Oh, it's sketchy, and they made it through. Great driving.
That was crazy. I'm not gonna lie. That was stellar.
Looks like there's a little bit of contact there in the hairpin. Nothing too serious though, but that was some great driving by. There were 3 wide and 2 rows on the entry to the corner there.
I've watched the slalom though. Slalom's been quite the problem.
Everybody getting through pretty well here. And I believe, yep, there's your leader, Thomas Rogers, putting a whopping, looks like it might be 2 seconds. Yeah, it is 2 seconds. 2 and a tenth. Got a great run on Ahmed.
Van Linen moved to 3rd.
Yep, and
Van Linen looking to do what she did in the GT Planet Fantasy Series.
Yeah,
this time, I mean, it's not as important now because you've got Marie Jardine who's won and Knostra who's won. But the first points race, it's a pretty big deal.
Oh,
so who's going to make history?
She already, even if she doesn't do it today, she will still have her name in the history books on the GTPFS as the first female winner. And you see Ahmed, the Pakistani native.
Think about the nationalities for all 5, the top 5. It's United States first, Pakistan second, Finland 3rd, Portugal 4th, Canada 5th. So,
a good mix.
It's an interesting little mix up there.
And then back to America in 6th.
Yeah, 6th, 7th, and then France in 8th, Canada in 9th, Luxembourg 10th. What about Aaron van der Linden? One of those that I wouldn't imagine would be up here. Just everything fell apart for this team. There's supposed to be a teammate with Gizmo Fonseca Vargas. That completely collapsed, leaving van der Linden as a 1-car team. And he's felt the effects of that. Essentially being a back marker, and I hate using that in IndyCar because you really don't have it. But he's the closest representation of what we have. So to have him start off the season and currently sitting in the top 5 is good. It's a very good thing to see that he is, improving. He is, getting over that, and he is catching up to what everyone else is doing.
Yeah, and it's it's always nice to see the people that usually don't spend a lot of time toward the front of the field to get up there, because if they can finish there, that's first off a huge boost for their team and the money that they're making and the amount of research they can put into cars and whatnot. But if nothing else, it helps the driver say, hey, we may not have the best stuff here, but we can get up there and we can win this thing. You know, we can get good runs. We are capable of things, even though it doesn't seem like the car would be.
Yeah. In fact, fourth and fifth are both single car teams. You think about Haas driving on his own. You think about Van der Linden on his own. But look at Cat Devil Racing. 3 of the 4 in the top 10.
Yeah, a lot of the talk about before the beginning of the year was going to be, you know, who's going to be better, Black Rose Racing or Cat Devil? Well,
Yeah.
right now, looks like
Right
Cat
now,
Devil.
It's not even a contest. You've got Devereaux sitting in the top 10 as well, which is a positive. But good running by Devereaux so far. Knock on wood. But Cat Devil Racing just seems so much more solid. You even think about with Kenosha. It suffered that damage early on, and still leapfrogged through people before pitting. Like, Cat Devil Racing just seems to know what's going on. Swift Autosport's been dominating since the second restart. And that doesn't seem to be slowing down. So, the team that we completely overlooked and essentially dismissed is the one we need to look at right now, because it's 1-2. It's just a solid 1-2. And Porter Kelly's got the fastest lap.
Yep, but Thomas Rogers is no more than 200ths behind.
And then you've got Evans, Windross, so Honda, Audi, Chevrolet with Rivera in 5th with the fastest laps. You've got Hardy in 6th, Devereaux 7th, Jackson 8th.
A tie between Hardy and Devereaux there.
That's scary. That's scary, similar for a road course like this. You got Herrera 9th fastest lap, and then Costa Montero 10th fastest lap. That doesn't necessarily mean a whole lot. You see Porter never finished a lap. You see how it doesn't really mean much with fastest laps, but it shows when everyone was at their best who was the fastest, which is currently Porter Kelly. Quite interesting to note that she was one of the 3 that pit on the restart.
Yeah, she was back in the top 10, I believe, in the.
Yeah, she was sitting 6th.
Yeah, so she was up there. I guess something went wrong, poor planning, not enough caution. Something happened, and her and 2 others dove down in the pits on the restart. We've been seeing that a lot, actually. Every caution flag we've had, somebody's followed the pace car, except for the first one, because nobody was behind the pace car when we went back to green. Still scratching my head on that one. But, yeah, it's still scratching my head on why they were pitting with the pace car anyway, but I guess we'll have to wait until they get out of the cars.
Yeah, I got to wait until after we see how the dust settles. There's a lot of dust that needs to settle. Rogers is checked out worse now than what he did with Evans and Windross. You see the 5-second gap. He's just left everyone.
He's back into that groove he had earlier when there's nobody in front of him, nobody behind him.
And we thought he had lost it.
Yeah.
He's back in having it. So the person I thought that was possibly a sneaker, someone that I think should be a favorite for a seat in 2017, proving that he needs a drive. He's done a really phenomenal job so far today. He's led the most laps outright, and he's close to leading them overall, I think. I believe he's close to the point of no return as far as that goes.
Well, we still have a good 4/10ths of the race to go.
Yeah. Yeah, anything can happen.
Looks like the sun might have come out a little more in the past 20 minutes.
Yeah. Track's starting to change a little bit. It was a little bit cloudy, still pretty humid, but the sun's come out, so it's going to be a little bit harder now. I think the tires are going to take a little bit more of a beating. Remember, he manipulated the field at the last green flag run, and got away with it, obviously pretty well because he's checked out. But I don't know if he's able to repeat that.
Yeah, I think if he's going to try that again, people are going to catch on.
Oh, I think so. I mean, he had one. He had a lot more gap, and he's working on it still. You think about how far back Venäläinen is. But at the same time, I think everyone's suddenly understanding where the tires are and what the tires are going to do. Now that we've had a green flag pit stop, what were the tires looking like when they pit? So I think we all know what we're expecting. Now, if it continues to get hotter, which is what Rogers is probably hoping for, then everyone will likely buy it again. Because if you don't, and you end up blowing a tire, you look like an idiot.
Yeah, but I mean, you're looking at the lap time right now. Or not lap time, but the laps, and you're looking at who's where on the track. You've got 6 seconds between first and second, and then pretty much 2 seconds through the top every other car in the top 5, and then it's pretty much pack racing the rest of the way through. You'd think that the only way you're going to knock that number 2 off after what we've seen today is if everybody else pits before he does and does the undercut.
Everyone would have to do an undercut, but everyone would have to be closer. And unfortunately, that's something that no one's been able to do. That no one's been able to close that gap. We saw it happen to Porter Kelly, but a caution saved us from actually seeing the pass happen. Rogers has just walked away with it every single time he's had the chance. That's not good. If you're say you're in Devereaux's position, you're hoping something happens. You're hoping Audi's reliability problems kick in.
And it seems that the Audis are the only ones so far that have not had an engine issue today.
Yeah. You think about Honda, who's had a couple problems. Chevrolet's obviously had problems. Dakota essentially done early because of that. Porter really done early. Audi's been the one that's been standing tall, and it's really weird thinking about it because Audi is even the factory teams even acknowledge that Audi's going to be really inconsistent. So I'm interested to see on how well Audi actually does later in this race once we've got 190 miles clocked in.
Well, I mean, it's like we mentioned at the top of the show, things have been, flip-flopped from what we've seen in the test sessions. Seems like that trend continues.
Oh yeah. Rogers really played no part in preseason. I mean, he was there, but we never talked about him. Ahmed, nothing was positive. And he's sitting here in second, just minding his own business. Venäläinen didn't get a lot of talk, but it's Venäläinen, and she's done some pretty incredible stuff. Harsh didn't get a lot of talk. Van der Linden got a lot of negative publicity of anything. Cameron Jackson, just a lot of bad luck. A lot of terrible luck. Windross, he was either hit or miss. Think about Devereaux, who's sitting in 8th, riding on board with him. he's one of those that you kind of feel sorry for because he's got the equipment. It just the circumstances just all go wrong as you're watching him go for that slalom. The slaloms are just really cool to watch them go through. This track is a driver's track more than it is a spectating track. Going down the list, you've got Stephen Nash, who's been really unlucky, especially on the ovals. Rivera, so close so many times, but so far away. Del Pret, Birmingham, both of them so close, but so far on occasions. Del Pret almost winning at Bristol until a late race caution. Hardy, nothing but wrecks, really. Costa Montero and Perlstein and Legault. A lot of the mid-carders currently sitting in the mid-card right now. Perlstein, Perlstein and Kenosha, both of our picks for the season, not getting anywhere impressively. Kenosha showed a flash of it early on, but it's been downhill from there. Perlstein not doing much better, sitting 15th. You got Legault sitting 16th, Slater 17th. Narish Jardine, who was as high as 3rd, I believe, sitting 18th after that pit stop. Porticelli, the pole sitter, sitting 19th. Ouch. Trevor Roby sitting 20th. You've got BK Glover, the last person on the lead lap, followed by Kenosha, Dakota, and Herrera, as well as Cristobal, who's apparently 5 laps down. I think he's suffering issues too. Then you've got 3 DNFs of Matthew Evans, Jet Raven, and Angel Porter. Not how I was expecting the field to go at all.
No.
Jet Raven, wasn't expecting him to be up near the front for that crash to happen. Same with Evans. Wasn't expecting Angel to DNS. And I keep saying DNS even though it's not confirmed yet. We don't technically know if it is a technical DNS or not. We won't know until after the race is over to see if she got points for it. But this is top 5. This top 5, not the way I was expecting it to go.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot different than what I think anybody would have picked or anybody would have said before the start of this thing. I don't think anybody, especially from what we had seen, I don't think anybody would have said, "Oh yeah, Muhammad Ahmed's going to be running second." And
We looked at Bristol and laughed.
Yeah.
And we're like, he's not going to do anything. But he's sitting second. He's doing something. And if you're Swift Autosport, you're really happy right now because all 3 of your drivers at one point was on podium. And there's a chance that 2 of them could still do that. That is an amazing thing. And for Audi, that is phenomenal. They took pole position in Indy and then completely flopped. Only 1 Audi finished out of 13. So to recover so nicely from that would be a godsend for them, and they've got it. You're looking at Harsh sitting in 4th. All he needs to do is get past Penalainen, who's right there.
And there he is.
Great timing. Thank you guys for making that easy. All he needs to do is pass the line, and he's right there. He's literally right there. Both of them have stock car experience. Both of them being their first times racing here. Let's see if Harsh can actually do something about this. See Vanderlyn in there behind Herrera.
And Harsh has you mentioned the stock cars. Harsh has the Concept Cup victory, championship really taken there. He pretty much ran away with that. He got 2 wins in his partial season, and then of course we already mentioned Van der Linden taking the first checkered flag for a female in GTPFS.
Not Van der Linden. That was Nuri Jardine. Van der Linden, not the right person.
In GDPFS.
Error? No. I think you're mixing up your people.
Wait, who did I say?
You were talking about Van der Linden. Van der Linden's never been in stock cars.
Excuse me, Venalainen. My bad. I got a lot of those letters right, just not in the right spots or spaces or anything. My bad. Again, would like to correct that there. Harsk won the Concept Cup. Venalainen, the first female to win in GTPFS. Van der Linden, he has not touched a stock car.
Yeah, he's touched things like Super GT, he's touched things like IndyCar, but and he's showing his finesse right now. 5th place for Van der Linden is a very amazing feeling. I mean, at this point, I think anything's kind of an overachieving. He started 27th, and he's sitting 5th. You think about Stephen Nash, who started last. He's sitting 9th. And was involved in an accident at the beginning of the race. Actually, he moved to 8th. He passed Windross. So, hardest chargers being Van der Linden and Nash, both of them in the top 10.
I think Nash is getting... For Nash, I feel like that's the turnaround he needs.
For both of them, it is.
Yeah.
Both of them, they need something dramatic. And I think Nash is definitely still charging. I mean, he's working on Devereaux now. Devereaux and Jackson. But I think it's going to be really interesting to see how if Van der Linden can keep this up. I mean, he's been climbing throughout the day. We've mentioned him several times. If he can keep climbing, if he can catch up the Harsk, even though it's a pretty far stretch, it's 4-second gap. If he can catch up the Harsk, if he can get past Harsk, what wonders that'll do, how amazing that'll be for the team, who's really suffered a lot this season already.
Yeah, and there's 4 seconds between them, and then you've got Nash as well in striking distance of both Jackson and
Let's see how far Van der Linden is from
Devereaux.
These guys. Let's see what that looks like. Whoa, way. We skipped Van der Linden. What the? Okay, there he is.
Yeah.
Okay. I was like, wait, what? Somehow, like, I saw it, and then I'm like, wait, that's Jackson. Here we go.
He's not too far off, actually.
No, he's not. He's actually doing an amazing job right now.
Let's see what the gap is here if he's gaining.
Let's see.
Yeah.
Gaining a little bit.
And we are late into the race, but it's still early enough. We're gaining a little bit.
It's still autoplay for.
Yeah, gaining a little bit is still able to be a valid thing,
And you can see.
Oh no! Oh
right.
my goodness!
Oh my!
I can't believe that.
And he's coming to the worst part of the track to fall on. Oh boy!
Look out, everybody! We were praising him so much, and that's some sketchy business there. You don't want to stop there. Look out, Rivera. That's surely going to be a safety car.
If not, it's about to be.
Somehow they get through. They all slowed up. That stopped all these cars. Everybody here.
But no one ran into each other.
And the caution is out, though. Oil everywhere.
Props for everyone for avoiding that.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Class act for everybody there.
Oh, wow.
Brownie points with all the stewards.
another. And no one got damaged from that, but they're still
No.
putting the caution out. Thank you, Surface Paradise, for not botching that one.
They had to. They had to. There's a car stopped in the middle of the track, and then you can't not throw a caution for that. Especially when about 10, 20 cars are stopped dead, waiting for, someone to get out of the way.
So these guys are going to catch up, which is amazing.
Although they're pretty nose to tail there. I don't know. Getting a little.
That might have been because Pearlstein and Herrera were side by side going into the chicane.
Yeah.
That was pretty scary.
Let's go
but
back.
they're all going to catch up, and
let's go back and
that's
actually
terrifying.
show you everybody slowing down there, because that is not a blind corner, but it's
a risky one.
Yeah.
Because you see it and you're thinking maybe he's further ahead, and he's not.
Is he the second kink? Oh no, he's the first.
And
look at everybody stack up.
And they avoided hitting each other.
There was some contact there.
Okay, a little bit compared
Very
to
minor.
Over. And they just get back to racing. Just, hey, how you doing?
That suspension damage that Kenosha acquired on lap 1, still kicking 77 laps later.
I believe that might have been because of it was behind Costa Montero, so I think it might have been with Pearlstein.
Look at this.
He's right on his tail. Herrera right behind Del Prep.
Well, there was some minor contact there, but nothing.
That wasn't what we saw the debris from.
Just look at everybody here trying to stack it up, and they do a great job not to hit each other that hard.
That's where the contact came from. It was Birmingham.
Well, the damage from the contact came between the 10 and the 43. You'll see.
Oh, yeah, it did.
See it here. Just
yeah,
a little,
there's just a little bit.
Little doink.
That.
Yep. Now we're gonna put this on the static camera here and give you one more replay here and just show you how crazy it got when these guys came flying in here. And and good job for everybody avoiding here too. Look, Devereaux, Nash. Oh man, Windross.
Not easy being easy if you're Windross, and everyone just brake.
The caution was thrown at that point right there. And just a little bit of contact here and there, but everybody, look at Porter Kelly says, hey, wait for me, I'm coming here. I want to get in this.
Roby and Dakota as well, following up there.
The safety car there just about rolled the car over. So then, Thomas Rogers though, not a fan of this here.
Yeah, that's a 10-second lead that's just evaporated.
Back to the live pictures and. Ooh. Lots of people in the pits, obviously, but are any of these not lapped cars? Several of them actually are lead lap.
All of them are lead lap.
There you go. You've got Ahmed,
lead.
Venelainen,
Harsk,
Jackson, and Devereaux. Devereaux stayed out for 2 stints now, I believe. There's Birmingham. Porter Kelly staying out. Windross
later than everyone else.
Hopefully nobody running into anybody in the pits here. This would be silly. Does not look like there's going to be any. Oh, I spoke too soon. Come on, boys.
Rivera made contact with Hardy at Hardy and Raven at Indy. Might as well just get the entire team while you're here.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Rivera does not know very much about
that damage.
Yeah, I don't know where that came from. Maybe he got into somebody in the pit lane as well. Or perhaps this is.
I don't think it. I wouldn't think that it's new.
Maybe it's from another cause. I don't remember him being involved in anything. See if
It's not because of the pit stop.
yeah, maybe it had something to do before this. I'm not gonna go back too far, but yeah, I don't remember him getting involved in anything. Maybe we just missed something during a green flag run, but yeah, there's nothing. Nothing there, so. It's a wait. Okay, wait. The green flag is out, but again.
This is a bit bizarre.
But there's more. Birmingham already pit. Harsk's in. Venalainen,
in.
Hardy didn't even catch. It didn't even look like half the cars were caught up yet.
And Hardy pit the first time.
And just like the first caution now. What in the world? I can't I
might want to reevaluate things here.
Yeah, I'm not sure. So that's going to give... I believe that'll give Ahmed the lead.
Oh,
and now what? Come on.
And this boom!
Nearly contact. This is silly.
Jackson's going to... Not Jackson, but Windross is going to lead.
I'm not from 10th place. No. No, now it's showing... Hold on. No, now it is showing... Devereaux. Then Nash, Porter Kelly, and Rogers. We apologize for that, but nobody...
That's confusing.
Yeah, I guess the Frenchman's got the lead now.
Can 80 lead on lap 80?
That would be interesting.
Nash is working on him.
But Devereaux stayed...
working on him.
Devereaux's on very old tires.
So is Nash.
Yeah.
I think of everyone in this group
well,
right now,
no, because Nash pit.
And so did Rogers.
So Devereaux's on old tires. I don't know about Porter Kelly. Porter Kelly did. Because she came in late. Devereaux stayed out.
Let's see.
And is going to lead...
He's going to lead lap 80.
Going to lead lap 80.
Nash is wanting it back.
Ooh. Windross catching up very quickly. Now we have a battle on our hands.
I think we had it.
Well, we did, but no breakaway from the leader this time.
Yet.
Good point.
I would ask you to look between Nash and Porter Kelly and define what gap is. I'm pretty sure that's it. But Windross came charging through like nothing.
He's restarted in 10th.
Restarted 10th, jumped to 5th.
Maybe a little less than that, considering people were pitting.
Got Nico Costa Montero. I don't think directly behind him, but.
Well, I'd say he's right about there. Ooh, look at that. Maybe contact almost through there. Oh, and there goes Devereaux. That was inevitable. Was not going to be able to hold on.
Nash leads.
That's good for Devereaux, though. He did lead a lap. He is a rookie, so there's Rivera coming right out in front of the leader. Things are heating up in the final few laps.
That pit exit is sketchy. I think VRR is learning from this. First street circuit. I think we're learning something really important from this.
Yeah. We'll add some caution laps. It doesn't kill you. Costa Montero. Flying up through there.
Trying. And Windross defending.
I think he did get around Del Pret, though.
Teammates, yeah.
Oh, and there's... Ooh! There's a... Rogers there. Now people starting to get impatient. Start making bold moves. They're working so far, but if somebody makes a bad one, we'll end up with...
And the reason why they're doing this, they shouldn't have to pit anymore.
No, they shouldn't.
That's why suddenly everyone's gunning it, is because they know that they can make it. That's why Devereaux had to pit, is because he couldn't. He was already at the extended tires. That is
That
no, it wasn't.
That was a pass, but it was... Both of them cut the chicane.
I thought that was contact for a second, but they somehow avoided it.
Nah, they're... See now as we enter the slaloms. Costa Montero in third now, I believe. Yeah, no. Excuse me, yeah, fourth still. It's actually Nash.
Whoa.
Ooh.
Something... Might want to look back a little bit.
Oh, you're right. Good call. Oh!
I saw him smoking a little
bit.
Caution's gonna come out.
Yeah, definitely for that spin. That little push.
I'd be honestly surprised if it didn't.
Man, BK Glover nearly hit the wall. The green is not out. It is yellow. So rack him up and let's do it again.
But, and I saw him suddenly back off, and I'm like, oh, whoa, that's not normal.
Oh, contact between Costa Montero and Porter Kelly, and now everybody scatters and the cameras are breaking. Goodness.
Everyone's trying to adjust themselves based on when they crossed that line because it was a late caution.
It really was. Now we've got Rivera just kind of chilling.
Walking through the slalom. And excuse me if the slalom isn't a correct term for that particular part of the track. It's essentially a slalom.
It's a slalom. There's Devereaux.
Yeah, I've seen Slater back off really awkwardly. Like he started taking a corner and then he backed off to the high lane, which is a really awkward lane to pick.
And then Dakota just kind of got the nose in there, and
there's just nowhere to go.
All right, so who pits?
Who's gonna pit? Now that you know that you can make it, do you want to risk it, or are you gonna say maybe there's gonna be another caution?
First 3, 4, Porter Kelly's in. Windross is in.
Championship experience right there for Porter Kelly.
Dakota, Norrie Jardine, Glover, Herrera, Venalainen.
Devereaux stayed out.
Devereaux, yeah, staying out. Ahmed falling back drastically there.
I think he lost a lot of positions on the pit stop, though.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
But the fact that he's able to get back with these guys is...
Yeah, these guys still have a chance, because there's still a good 20 laps left.
We've kind of proven that if you're in the race, you've got a chance to win this one. Unless, you're Vanderlinden or Slater, who's moving through the field and just gets slammed with bad luck.
Well, we're going green this time. Not sure. The lights were on. They went off just now. Here comes Porter Kelly out. Porter Kelly was a little slow out there. I'm not sure.
That might be a protest being done right there.
Yeah, I wouldn't disagree with it.
I think if you're Porter Kelly, you just focus. At this point, you just don't. This is why I agree with those that didn't pit. As weird as it's been, and as weird as this restart system has been here at Surfers, and it isn't a usual system. It isn't something that you see at Mexico City. You'll see it a lot differently at Mexico because it's an actual VRR system. This seems so weird.
Well, she still catches up, so
at least she's the last one. Looks like everyone catches up. So
yeah.
maybe 2 laps now is okay.
Well, it depends though on how, because this field was not spread out to start with.
Just have cautions every 5 laps.
And there's the green light. You saw it turn on. Good jump there by Nash.
Nash clearing everyone, but everyone else behind him.
Ooh, you can see from the helicopter camera, 2x2, almost 3 wide in a couple of cases. The two orange and black cars there side by side for second place. Costa Montero has just, he got the let out in these last couple laps.
Climbing and climbing and climbing.
Oh, wow. Oh, he hopped the, did you see that?
Hopped it
He
and
completely
ran.
hopped the curb and made it stick. Costa Montero is gunning for it right now.
Think about Nash, who started last. Costa Montero started 25th. So the people that were in the very back, up front.
Devereaux back in the top 10.
Yeah, he is. Following Cameron Jackson. Muhammad Ahmed still in the top 10. Pearlstein top 10.
Hey, there he is.
Got Narish Jardine sitting 11th. She's climbed up.
Rivera having a say in who's going to win this race right now.
Not even a lead lap car.
Yeah, that's where I'm wondering where the blue flags are at.
Looking. You see a handful of drivers. It's a decent amount of drivers not DNF'd.
Considering the wrecks we've had too.
Yeah. You got Slater, who's officially out. Vandalinden is out with what appears to be a valve issue. No, excuse me, that is a clutch. Cristobal out with ignition. Evans and Raven out with an accident. And Angel Porter out because of a piston. So that is what killed her race before it started.
Is that what they're saying, or has that been 100% confirmed as to what the cause
That has been confirmed. That is one of the Coca-Cola team has said that is what was the issue.
Interesting. Any comments from Evangeline on that?
No. She's not even at the track at this particular point in time.
She's already gone.
At this point, it's one of those things where the team has taken a dismal turn. I mean, Devereaux's doing fine.
Yeah. I feel like
great
right
job
now,
for Devereaux.
Evangeline is somewhere on top of one of these buildings in a hot tub watching this race.
Where would Angel rather be? Make that a hashtag.
Yes.
Have a bunch of memes coming after that. And it's sad because you think about Angel Porter and.
But her season's not over. You know.
Oh, it's not. It's starting off really, really badly. The thing about I mean, I don't think she had an amazing time this weekend. I mean, 14th in FP1, 3rd in FP2, but that was a throwaway session for a lot of people. Qualified 16th.
Why is it? I don't know why Rivera's blocking. At least that's what it looks like from that angle. Rivera moved.
Hey, I'm not getting it. I'm not getting it either because he's not on the lead lap. He's not on the lead lap, so and there's no free passes. So
they're not teammates either. The 99 and the 11. I don't believe they are. No.
they are not. Scuderia Ravi Furiosa's Chevrolet. So in fact, he should probably be helping Costa Montero.
Yeah, I really don't. I think this comes down to the rookie thing. But
Well, that would usually apply, aside from the fact that Costa Montero is the more inexperienced IndyCar driver.
yeah, I don't understand because coming down the front straightaway last lap, Costa Montero went to the right, had a good
And
run,
Rivera went to the right.
and then Rivera just went to the right and cut him off. And have not seen those skid marks before, but apparently did not throw a yellow. Looked like somebody might have looped it on the front stretch.
17 cars on lead lap. As you can see, we've been following your guys' requests, so the sounds are here, and we're going through the ticker, so pay attention to that. For a road course, is going to be kind of pointless, but 1-0, 1-0, 1-0, 1-0. For all my soccer fans out there, Perlstein's the top of the board. I suddenly feel a little bit vindicated. Thank you, Perlstein, for not making me look like a fool. Yeah, and because Matero's stuck behind Rivera. Rivera's sitting 9th. Nash is in the top 10. He just looked away. It's still bad. If Perlstein somehow charges from behind to get this one, I mean, I don't expect it. We've got about 17 laps left. And this is Perlstein. He at Michigan he did charge from 17th to 1st in 10 laps. Rivera. Rogers pit. I watched the leaderboard, and I watched as everyone started jumping the 2. Like, if you go back when everyone started crossing the line, you start seeing the 2 go from, like, 3rd and to 7th, and then off. And that's either a DNF, or someone's pitting. I should be. I mean, her and Del Prat. I mean, Del Prat's, I think, had it from pretty early on. I can't imagine. I mean, the only incident we could think of, he had it before that. Yeah, and he avoided Kenosha's accident, but then it tapped the wall. Oh! That's the pit exit. Should be a yellow. That just killed Venalina's race. Venalina was doing so good. Venalina not happy. I think this might be a drive-through for Rogers. Actually, this might be the reason why he might have gotten a penalty. And then he overreacted. I mean, he might have got a penalty before that, though. And that's why he drove in. Yeah, he pit, and then he came out. Whether or not he got a speeding penalty, like, him retaliating for being penalized for something different. Well, probably now because he got damaged. Yeah, imagine Kenosha. One of her drivers just got rammed. And then Venalainen's just screwed. He wouldn't have made it around the track. I think a frustration got to him because I guess I don't know. I mean, it seems really stupid. It seems really petty, but at the same time, we've seen people do worse for less. So. And all three of them were nose to tail, battling for position. Probably not. I mean, think about the rest of the race. I mean, if it was a VRR event, I think Rogers would have been parked. Or if anything, he's gonna be suspended afterwards. But like, oh, I want to go to the pits. Venalainen's like, yeah, you're gonna stay out a little bit longer. And she didn't run into him. She just like brushed aside and like, hey, I don't like you. More patience than I have. That's for sure. Yeah, Kenosha expects more from her team, and you see it with. Surprisingly. We've just started the lap, though, I think. Oh yeah, we're a lot of people. Most of the field is going to catch up immediately, but they're on the lap. And this is where we start. This is where you start nitpicking. Yeah, because Montero is going to hurt, but Yeah. I mean, aside from when he was like third, I mean, he hasn't had a spectacular day outside of that, but you doing. Look at Rivera in the right behind. Look at Pearlstein. Pearlstein. Oh yeah, Pearlstein and Del Pret. Thank you guys. I feel like a winner. Um. What? Heist of the century. Rivera. The Portuguese are flying. Hartskin goes to Montero. But this shouldn't even be happening. That Pearlstein, you sorry boy. I can't even. Um. I guess. I guess everyone's a little too hammered from the night before. Um. All that glitters is not gold. There's a lot of different analogies here. Yeah, Del Pret can't touch him. Literally, Del Pret cannot touch him. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Del Pret can't touch him. Going to 98, I believe. So, Cat Dove Racing, 2 in a row. No, and Pearlstein's still 4th. Pearlie's still setting P4. Go Pearlstein. He did an amazing job. And Rivera. Del Pret was on the inside, and Del Pret. Well, Del Pret, it was Rivera that got into Pearlstein, and Del Pret got pressed into the wall. Del Pret had nowhere to go. Rivera was pushing too hard. Mr. No Days Off. Give me a couple. Oh man, and Nash is just for what? Ugh. Sorry, Nash. Oh god, within 10 to go. Oh. It's intense for those that have lost too many brain cells, and I think I've joined that group. He might have been a part of that. Where's the caution? And why? Kelly's taking a beating. These girls are taking a beating. Wow. Vinalainen, Kenoshita, Kelly. The only one that hasn't really taken a hit is Nareesh Dean. Yeah. The calamity that is turn 1. I believe we're still a lap early. He's literally got nothing to gain by it. Sorry, Del Pret. Harsh got involved. It's really weird. Yeah, Rivera just didn't break. Very GT style of racing. I wouldn't. As you're within 10 to go. You're going to restart with 8. I guess I don't know. You could try to look out. Hope Rivera takes out everyone in front of him again. Hey, look, a sensible restart with everyone here. Awesome. One nil. Unlikely. Unlikely, but possible. Del Prix's right there. Great start. Great start by everyone ahead. Oh! 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 Thanks, mate. Drive it like you stole it. Yeah, it is. This is the second. This is the second time he's pulled away. Harsk just has nothing for him. You got Hardy. You've got Ahmed. Cameron Jackson. He's been floating around. He's been floating around. Marie Jardine. The only female that has not somehow like clashed with metal. You got Devereaux. He's been at the top 10 most of the day. So great job for him. You have Venalainen sticking it through. Maybe I don't know, maybe he wore tires out a little too much. I don't know. It's I think Dalpret's pushing it really hard. .31 makes about as much sense. Yeah, he had a terrible time. He was the one that went with the missile flip. Probably one of the more spectacular ones. Well, he was the one that missile flipped and then landed it and then drove it to the pit lane. It's been a couple months.
But yeah, it's been a couple months, and he's improved in those couple months.
The entire Cat Devil Racing team has been on a roll. Kenosha, you think about Kenosha, you think about Jackson, who was in contention to win at Indy and then got taken out. Nash, who just suffered a lot of gremlins coming into his flip, just really off pace. You got Venalainen, who's just an all-arounder. The inclusion of Sakura Ishibashi to the field, you know, it's that team is on a roll, and this is the culmination of that.
Yeah, you know, I'm looking right now at this gap, and it did go down a little bit that time.
Dalpret's pulling a little bit more on Harsk too.
Yeah, I don't think that Dalpret, who by the way has had a good preseason but never had results to show. I think it's going the other way around now. He's kind of been lurking in the shadows this race, but he's got the result now if he can hang on. But I mean, I gotta say, the Cat Devil Racing team, I don't know what they did, but they really, really have put a strong. I can't even think of the word to describe
Strong program.
The program has been strong, but just
I think the puzzle pieces all came into play perfectly.
Yeah, because you got Kenosha winning the Indianapolis 500.
Venalainen back in the top 10.
Oh, there she goes after.
So the three Cat Devil Racing cars that have been in the top 10 for most of the time we've been running, back in the top 10. You've got Nari Jardine as the highest female, I believe, in 7th.
Yeah.
Look at Cameron Jackson in 6th. He's been everywhere.
You got Devereaux in 8th.
Devereaux in 8th. He's been top 10 all race long.
There's only 2 to go. Now, if a caution were to come out at this point,
it's over.
It's over. So this thing is either way you. Oh no! Nash in the pit lane. Nash into the pits. I don't believe it. That's gonna give Harsk another one in the pits. Is Perlstein, Trobes. They're wow. Not enough fuel. 3 cars simultaneously, and that is a heartbreaker. But Harsk. Oh man.
Oh my gosh.
And Del Pret must have pit the lap beforehand because now he's not up there anymore. Oh my goodness. Major, major game changer here.
This possibly just determined the race.
That was totally unexpected. The words that were about to come out of my mouth were quite literally, no matter how you look at it, it looks like Nash is going to win. And right when I said no matter how you look at it, well, if you look at it that way, he's not going to win. Oh my goodness. Now this is just, it's Harsk's now, man.
I wouldn't say that.
Well,
he's coming to the white flag, that's for sure. The white flag is his, maybe.
There it is. He's got the white. I don't know, but
if he makes it one more lap, he's okay.
Hardy up to 2nd.
He's not on the lap, I don't think.
Oh, no, excuse me. But Ahmed in 2nd. Jackson on the podium. Nari Jardine
P4
to keep the momentum rolling. She wants a podium. 1 lap left. That's going to put Devereaux in the top 5.
Costa Montero, so both Portuguese in the top 6. Venalainen at 7th.
I don't... Just the way that Harsk has been winning races in these series lately, just, you never would have guessed. I don't think I would have. I definitely wouldn't have. I don't think you would have. Coming out into the final corners...
He had it in he had it in his hand. I don't get it.
Cat Devil Racing dominant for 107 of 108. Checkered flag in the air. I don't believe it. Do you? Harsk is gonna win. Oh
Harsk
my goodness!
is the winner.
And a second place for Ahmed. The 2 people that probably you would have never guessed.
Cameron Jackson in 3rd.
The top 2 with the lowest odds of winning. I don't understand that one bit, but this race has been nothing but crazy.
Jackson started 2nd into 3rd.
Oh man.
Think about
Nari
Jardine in 4th.
Devereaux holds on for a Black Rose top 5, which is what they needed.
You've got Nico Costa Montero in 6th. Venalainen in 7th.
What a rebound.
Windross in 8th. Porticelli in 9th.
That's also a great rebound.
You've got Jacob Birmingham in 10th. That is
good rebound because he was in the wall.
BK Glover 11th. Steven Nash back down to 12th. That has to hurt so much. Pearlstein 13th, Ruby 14th, Del Pret 15th, Hardy first one lap down. We saw him cross the line in front of Ahmed on the screen. He's in 16th, I believe. Yep. Legault in 17th, Rivera 18th. Long day. 19th is Kinoshita. 20th is Rogers. We've got Dakota in 21st. And Alan Herrera is the last one running in 22nd position.
Wow.
He's not running. He retired.
Wow.
I should clarify that. He did not finish.
Well, he was running pretty slow, but I don't remember. I don't know where he dropped out. But
I don't remember. I didn't recall him dropping out. It was nothing, I don't think, special.
see Kinoshita running another lap there. She's making absolute sure that she's completed all the laps with that damage. But how about Harsk? That's an incredible. I'm really speechless because there was nothing that was keeping Nash from winning. There was nothing keeping Del Pret from finally getting a good result. There was nothing keeping any of these guys from finishing fantastic. And the gas just ran out.
It's just absolutely nuts. Think about Thomas Rogers, who finished so terribly, led the most laps, led 49 laps, almost half the race. You think about Jamie Marie Jardine, she gained the most positions of anyone in the field. She gained 20.
Nash was en route to getting that, though, because he had started in last.
From last to first. Imagine that.
From last to first to last.
Matthew Evans lost the most positions. He lost 19. But Harsk is leading the championship standings.
I can't even begin to explain how happy I am for him, but how freaking confused I am, because this race, if you'd have told me at the start of this race that the top two finishers were going to be Harsk and then Ahmed, I would have slapped you in the face and I would have called security and a doctor, because you probably would have needed one. Now, your pole sitter finishing in the top 10, a heck of a rebound. You've got think about Devereaux there, who pit with about 30 to go from the lead, 20 to go more like, and he rebounded. The Frenchman in 5th. You've got Windross, who's just been quietly lurking all day, got a little bit of damage, but aside from that, ran a good race. You've got Rivera, who's more than likely going to be under review or something like that, because, let's face it, he wrecked leaders twice. Although that's not confirmed. That's just my own opinion there. I don't... Wow. And then you've got Kenosha pulled out a top 20, which is pretty impressive considering the circumstances.
Yeah, I remember recalling that this was going to be Honda's race to lose. And it was.
It was!
And they lost it.
And think about this, Audi was the ones that we were saying all preseason, they were the most unreliable, they weren't going to finish these races, they were going to blow up more than anybody, and we said at the top of the show that things have been backwards. Well, you look at the standings, you look at the results, you look at the fact that an Audi won, yeah, things are backwards, really backwards. When both Kinoshita and Porter finish below the top 15, something is definitely flip-flopped.
I'm speechless. Honda had it and dropped it. Audi picked it up and ran with it. So, you know, Audi has their way of doing this. They've won so many 24 Hours of Le Mans for a reason. So it makes sense on how Audi got this one. Not much made sense, but Audi winning this does make sense, somewhat.
I don't think, to be honest, I don't think anything makes sense except for the one point in the race when the engine dropped and everybody in that 10-12 car pack managed to slow down. That's about the only sense that I think was made this entire race.
I think that moment right there, when Van der Linden lost his engine and had to come to a park right in the middle, when everyone was able to check up and keep on going.
Where was that the rest of the race?
I think that needs to be captured and put in a museum.
Yes.
Common sense 101. That was beautiful.
How about the bad luck for Van der Linden though? He had such a great race going. He was
top 5.
En route to a top 5. You know, and as we were on board, the engine killed itself. We also continue the streak of how many races in a row we go where somebody rolls over, and we've also continued the streak of how many cars how many races can we go where somebody's hit the catch fence. So there's a little bit of everything in this race, and I don't think anybody expected the plot twists. There was too many plot twists to count, and we started this at in the States. It was a 11 p.m. toward midnight. This race began with the red flag and everything in between. It's now a very, very early 5:30, and with that said, Clayton, I think it's time we get some rest.
On to Motegi next weekend. That's
Yes.
That's going to be another trip on its own.
It's been
I'm
great.
excited for it. You know, Surfer's Paradise has set us off on a completely different tone. Motegi is going to be a lot more different than I expected it to be. So, who knows? Who honestly knows?
Well, Clayton, I tell you what, it has been a great day being up here with you in the booth, and I cannot wait until we hit Japan and we go Kauai, and we race for how many miles is that?
300.
300 miles.
Laps.
Goodness, it's gonna be a great race there. So yeah, Motegi never fails to have a good race. So yeah, I guess congrats, Harsk.
Congrats to Harsh. Congrats to the podium.
Congrats to anybody who
Ed and Jackson.
Congrats to anybody who finished the race, and congrats to anybody who stuck it out with us for the entire 2-3 hours this race length has been. On behalf of VRR and the Straight Talk Wireless IndyCar Series, I'm NASCAR Fan 1400 alongside with Clayton Hardy. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time in Twin Ring Motegi for round number 2.